would be remiss not to give the Nuggets some love. You know, we're talking about all the things the Suns need to do, but Jokic and Jamal Murray came out last night and they showed out and they did what they had to do, you know? Like dominant performance from Jokic again throughout, you know, 2-time MVP, you expect that. And, you know, Jamal Murray showed up and helped him. And on the road too, because sometimes a lot of Jamal Murray's like really good performances tend to be at home, but they were on the road. They didn't let this get to a game 7. You know, they made it really difficult on KD last night. Booker didn't have like one of his like scoring outputs like he normally does. And, you know, they handled business. They did what they had to do. So, you know, now they're on to the Western Conference Finals. I would just say this, though. You know, I see a lot of like gloating all the time, like, that's why he should have been MVP and y'all are questioning him and all of this stuff. And like, first of all, let's just remind ourselves that like, Joel Embiid is playing hurt. So like, I don't think we need to he's not going to look like the regular version of himself, but you know, and even if he has like moments, that's how it is with injury when you're not fully recovered. Like you have some moments you can like really show up and others can. And that's just unfortunate. And that's also one of the knocks against Joel Embiid, right? But the other thing is that the Nuggets have played the Timberwolves with all due respect and a Suns team that doesn't have much depth, even though they have 2 really great stars. You know, I mean, Kevin Durant was even paying, you know, a lot of respect to Jokic last night. I've always had respect. Will go down as one of the all-time great centers to ever touch a basketball. So all of that's true, and he deserves all of his flowers. But still, people, like, this is what a number 1 seed is supposed to do, and they are supposed to beat up on the teams that are inferior to them. The Wolves were not mighty competition, and the reason I think why people are having this reaction to the Suns is because many, not me, many overrated the Suns. They were like, oh, they're gonna come out the West and they're this great team. So now when people see them losing the way that they did, it's like, oh yeah, now we got to put some respect on Jokic's name, and you should put respect on his name regardless. But it's not because these teams were like that worthy, in my opinion. Like obviously if you're going up against Kevin Durant and the run that Booker was on, it's huge, but like this is the ending I foresaw. So this is not shocking to me.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to get swept. I'm not going to even lie to you. And I understand that's saying a lot because they still do have Kevin Durant. They still do have Devin Booker. I understand. I completely understand. I oversold it. That being said, everything that we talked about in terms of depth, in terms of injury was what my concern was. So I really am surprised that it went 2 more games. But let me ask you this though, Nat, because I truly believe, I had said this before, and maybe I need to take this back a little bit. I do think that the Warriors-Lakers winner potentially is the finals participant. But am I just underselling Denver here, or is this their year? Do you think that they could potentially get over the hump and finally make an NBA Finals appearance with Jokic?
So listen, you know, if the Warriors make it out, I'm never picking against the Warriors.
Well, we get that, right? Obviously.
So I don't think if the Lakers advance that they can beat the Nuggets, but it's more about the fact that the Nuggets, they finished this series now last night. Next game 1 wouldn't be until Tuesday. So they're getting a lot of rest.
Yeah.
They have home court advantage. The altitude is always an adjustment.
Very
and the
true.
Lakers, like, they already look gassed at the end of these games with the Warriors. So I just don't know. Like it would depend on how those games are. Like if there's going to be 2 nights off or something that would allow the Lakers to recover. But, and by the way, the Warriors have old guys too. So, and they've been playing every other night since like the Kings series, the ending of it. So it's definitely wearing for it. I think that accounts for why you're seeing less efficient shooting from Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. But at the end of the day, I think that the Warriors are a little bit more equipped to deal with that just because of the way like Steph and Klay run around on the court, and they're a little bit more used to playing fast all the time and all of that. where the Lakers, they need those like days off. We saw throughout the regular season, you get better performances from LeBron, you get better performances from Anthony Davis when they have time to fully recover. And so I think the edge would be to the Nuggets, but only for that reason. I do think either the Nuggets, I do think either the Lakers or the Warriors can really challenge the Nuggets. I think those series would be much more compelling and more likely to go, the distance than the other teams they've faced so far, which is what the benefit of being a number one seed gets you.
Absolutely, for sure. And obviously the Lakers have one of the top defenses in the NBA. So they do have that in their favor. But ultimately, I do think that you do have older players, some guys that need some rest. We've seen some inconsistencies through them. But with that, they do have a really solid bench that can come out and get some points, which is very important. Obviously, Suns don't know anything about that. And that's why they're about to go to Cancun next week. So, but ultimately, I am curious about who could potentially be the best contender for the finals. And I'm just curious to know if this goes 7, Warriors, Lakers, are you going to come out, whoever the winner is going to be exhausted? And you already mentioned, look, Denver is about to get all of this rest. Does that benefit them any, as opposed to whoever the winner is going to be if they find a way to go, 7 games?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got to get past game 6 tonight. So,
that's very true. Yeah.
It's like one game at a time right now.
Absolutely, for sure.
This series with the Warriors, we have 2 elimination games tonight, and we'll talk about the Heat a little bit more later, but for the Warriors, they forced the game. They forced the game 6. They're going back to the Lakers. And look, there's some streaks on the line because the Warriors have a history of winning at least one road game in every playoff series that they've had, going back to 2013, Reeta. Okay. So there's that streak. There's also the streak under Steve Kerr of them never losing a game in the West playoffs. They always advance and at least get to the finals. Okay. Yeah. LeBron has some streaks too. He's never lost when he's had a 2-0 lead in the series, whether that be 2-0 and then the other team wins, or if he goes up 3-1. And we see the numbers here. Like if he has a 2-0 lead, 32-0. When he's 3-1, when he goes up 3-1, 17-0, right? So a streak is going to get broken at some point.
I was about to say, somebody's feelings are going to get hurt one way or the other.
Yeah, and if they even get to a game 7, if they can force the game 7 after tonight, LeBron has won his last 6 playoff game 7s, and that's going back to I want to say 2000 and I don't know, 9. I might be making up things, but it goes back a while. So, it's going to be interesting to see, it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Warriors are going to push it to a game 7, but because the other games have been close. Here it says the Lakers must change to close out the Warriors. And I agree, and so I don't know what their answer is going to be to that, but it's just a few things here and there at the end of the game that if it goes a little bit differently. So if it's a close game, the Warriors have to obviously hope that they get what they needed, but they're due a game 6 Clay, or just a Clay game. I don't want to call it game 6 because everyone gets caught up in that, but they are due a Clay game. Wiggins, he's questionable because he had an injury, but he was really good for them last game. He is planning to play. I saw a report that he participated in shoot around. So we'll see. But I do think they can force the game 7. I'm not saying that they're going to win the series, but I do think if they really focus, I do think they can go in there and force a game 7.
You like the odds, basically. And look, I get it. That's understandable. You like the odds. And ultimately, too, Anthony Davis, although he is going to play, I mean, we have to see how that's going to be because he suffered a head injury in the last game. And so you never know how that's going to play out. So that'll be interesting as well. But yeah, this is the creme de la creme tonight. Look, we are sitting, there's other games that need to be played, clearly, right? There's other game 7s. There's other, here we are worried about who is going to win Warriors Lakers, because that is literally the game that everybody is going up for. Everybody's excited for, myself included. So this should be fun to see. Well, stressful for you, so take your heart medicine, but fun for me because I don't have a dog in this fight, and I just want a good. As long as I don't see what I saw last night, I'm good. Either way, as long as I don't see what I saw last night.
I mean, listen, there's been a lot of like back and forth between the two teams these last couple of games, you know, like about fouls and like the Lakers
flopping.
They didn't like that. The Warriors apparently submitted a report to the league, like with plays, like breaking down all the flopping the Lakers have been doing. And so all this, LeBron, I don't flop, the coach is calling each other out. So there's been a lot of back and forth. So we can say at this point, it's gotten sort of testy between the two teams.
Yeah, I love it.
So
I love it.
I love it. It's going to be chippy. They all know which streaks are on the line. I'm sure the Warriors would love the irony of coming back and completing a comeback from down, you know, being down 1-3. So it's going to be great, Reeta.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.